super discounts on merchandise. Massive sales on courses from Chessable. Chessable and Chess24 bundles, with new deals appearing every day. Visit chess24.com/deals.
Take your chess to the next level with carefully selected collections featuring some of the best video series from Chess24. Buy the courses to own them forever, save up to 60%, or go premium and access all series while having all other privileges of premium membership. Learn more at chess24.com/deals.
Okay. All right, welcome everybody. Another day of Banter Blitz. Playing from Sochi now. I'm looking forward to the World Cup starting soon, but I got to buy in round one, so I get to play with y'all just a little bit. So let's get this show on the road. We're going to play with Flanders. Flanders is challenging me. Guess we got to play with him. All right, so good luck, everybody. Let's have some fun. I'm going to play the Chessable repertoire as always, and it's here in the chat. I think part of it is on sale today, actually. So yeah, let's get started, and we'll see if I can take out Mr. Flanders. All right, so he's starting off with Queen's Gambit declined, which is, of course, a very sensible and solid opening. And I will stick with the Chessable repertoire. As a reminder, I'm only interacting with the chat on Chess24 and not on YouTube or Twitch. So sorry to you guys, but talk amongst yourselves. So far we're still in theory, but yeah, I'll do my best to take some questions while playing. Do you hope to get to candidates through the World Cup? Yes, of course. I would love to, make it to the finals. I think only 2 guys may get through, so it's I would like to make it to the finals. That's obviously a very ambitious goal, but why not me? It could happen. Yeah, so knight c6 is a little bit of unusual move order. Normally they start with bishop takes c5, but I don't really want to burn too much time trying to punish him, so I'm just going to play queen c2. Maybe I could have tried to do something else there, but I'm not sure there's a need. So I go with rook d1, and we're still just keeping in line with the Chessable repertoire so far. And here black can go, his main move is queen a5, I think. And then after a3, there's either rook e8 or rook d8. So we'll see if I can get there. Yeah, if you have Simpsons, Family Guy, or best of all, South Park in your avatar, that does increase your chances. I'm a sucker for funny cartoons. What can I say? Yeah, so I generally prefer to play with 5-0 or 3-2. I don't love getting flagged, and I'm not like these Twitch streamers who can just play extremely fast and talk about their games and still maintain some level of playing. So Kuljit Singh Khurana has another funny-looking cartoon character, but I don't actually know which one that one is, so I'm not sure. But maybe I'll give him a chance for that. All right, so here I probably could have played this better because I think black is probably more or less okay, but it's not that easy for him. Maybe he can play e5 here. Yeah, dc4 feels not great because now how does he ever get his bishop into the game? If he ever plays e5, he's sort of begging to get mated. And black's development is not great. Okay, so that's Fred Flintstone, apparently. This one I don't know. All right, b6. I feel like I should be able to get violent here somehow, but it's not that easy to see how. I'm going to start with bishop g5 and challenge this knight who doesn't have a great square. And hopefully I can compromise the pawn structure around his king and make him regret exchanging off his dark-scored bishop, which obviously would have kept his position pretty well defended if it were still on e7. Hang on, you guys, just hang tight. I need to get my water bottle. I don't know where it is. I'm thirsty. Got the bottle. Okay, so 95 looks like a totally sensible move. Yeah, it's an annoying move actually. I'm gonna go bishop back to e2. If he takes on f3, he can actually, yeah, he can take f3, take g5, bishop a8, bishop a6 is a bit annoying. Unfortunately, I don't think I have anything there, so I'm gonna have to accept a miserable position. Alright, so he does take on f3. Will he figure out the, yeah, so he figured this out, and he's going to have bishop a6, and black is going to be very comfortable, unfortunately. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but the more I'm thinking about this, the more I think I'm not really worse. I should be fine. My bishop's a bit better than his knight, and it's hard for him to deal with queen a4 next. So let's go queen a4. Harass that pawn a bit. I don't know. At some point, the Catalan bishop is supposed to be at least give you something, but here this feels pretty thin. All right, so let's go c4 and lock his pieces out a bit. Black is definitely fine here, but maybe I can pretend a bit. Rook c8, sure. So you're not actually threatening that pawn yet. So I'm gonna go queen b5 and try to trade queens and get ready for rook d6. But black should be totally fine here. Somewhere or another. All right, so that, I guess let's just take the queen and go bishop e2, and his rook is a little bit awkward, and rook d6 is a threat, so it probably will take a little bit of effort for black to hang on here, but I can't imagine it'll be that stressful for him. All right, so let's check and get the rook to b8. But he'll have knight d2. All right, so that was dumb. We'll go rook b8. This is still probably fine. All right, c3 I didn't think was great. Maybe. Let's see what he has in mind. Knight e2, and then this is of course a dead draw, but we'll see if he can keep an equal position or not. I guess my king's a little bit closer to the action than his. So I'm going to bring my king and pretend to do something useful. All right, so king c3. Let's see, maybe he'll be dumb enough to put the king on the 5th rank. Unfortunately not. Well, I spoke too soon. So check, and then if king e4, rook b, king b3 wins, and now I'm taking his pawn. So I managed to trick this guy, and now all of a sudden I'm probably just winning. Because his rook is also really awkward too. So okay, so let's just go rook a7 and harass that pawn, cut the king off while I'm at it, and start pushing a4. Thought I could have gone rook a4 there actually. Oh well, let's go a4. G5, sure. Keep on pushing. I totally missed f4. It's clumsy. I guess I have to take this way. And now what? Can go rook g7. Seems fine. I get 2 passed pawns, and then my a pawn is pretty good. I still think I have good winning chances here. Up the board with the king. My pawn is faster. So let's go a7. And then I'll go g4. My king can come back to deal with the e-pawn, and I think my two passers should be decisive. So yeah, let's get the king in front. And then g5. So you can go king f5, but king f3 is its one. So yeah, he has to move here, and he doesn't have one. Ah, that's a move. I suppose it is. Is this just a draw now? That'd be a real bummer. He's offering me a draw, which implies he thinks it is, but so hard to believe. Maybe though. Let's see. King e2, king f5, and no moves, huh? I'm not gonna flag him. I'm just gonna give him his draw. I have better things to do than flag people. All right, Kyle, let's play with you. That was a disappointing game. Ranking between South Park, Family Guy, and Simpsons, I think South Park is clearly first. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I'd probably put Simpsons second, and then Family Guy third. All right, so let's keep playing the chessboard repertoire. Should be 3. Yeah, so knight c6 is just a bad move, because now I get this coordination with bishop e3, knight d2, which you're not supposed to get in the king's Indian if black plays it right. And here the big point is I'm not going to castle, so there I'm just going to like c5 him in the face. And after f5 I will go f3, and if he plays f4 and g5 like this, I'm just not going to castle into the attack. So he's going to get crushed on the queen side without getting nearly enough kingside counterplay. Like if my king's not on g1, his like this whole g5 business just doesn't do anything. So like already here, let's see, CD, bishop b6, queen d7, and then I don't see the follow-up. I can just start with queen b3 and ask him for a move. That seems sensible. I could just go rook c1. Let's just go rook c1. And g5, sure. So 1 h3, probably not. He'll just go knight h5 then.
¿En serio?
Sí, momentáneamente.
I'm not scared of g4. It doesn't do anything if I don't castle, so how do I want to proceed? Let's go queen b3 and I'll get ready for some kind of queen a3. Yeah, I see some good options for me here, so it's fine. Like if my king can always just sit on d2 if it needs to. All right, so there. Let's start by taking this one and then go bishop b6. His queen has to go to d7, which is a bad square. And then I'll go queen a3, which forces some kind of knight e8. And then after knight e8, his queen is almost trapped, and I mean, he has to play knight e8. I mean, what else? But after bishop a5, his queen has no squares, and knight b6 is coming, and this is gone. So thoughts on the bayonet attack? I don't know. It's very forcing and very scary, and if it goes wrong for white, it goes very wrong. I thought this Gligorich, I mean, I explained it in the course, my rationale. I don't believe the Gligorich is the best attempt to fight for the biggest possible advantage against the King's Indian, but I think it can pretty consistently get you like a small advantage without giving black the kind of counterplay he desires. Like if you look at this game, he just never got to play h5 and g4. And even if he did, my king would sit on d2 and there's nothing to be done. It's very hard to attack the Gligorich in the same way you can attack other lines. I mean, everyone who plays the King's Indian, or at least good players who have analyzed the King's Indian well, they know it's fundamentally unsound and they just don't care because they get all these practical chances. And if you just deny them those chances, it's sort of a horrible game for them to play. All right, so now I'm in exchange up and it's sort of cleanup time. I just have to make sure not to do anything too stupid and I should win the game. Who wins today, Italy or England? I'm not a particular fan of either team, unfortunately, but I guess I'm rooting for Italy. Let's just bring this knight back to some more intelligent. I don't know, knight d2, b3, a5, c6. Takes a long time, but I'm not scared of him doing anything to me. He can go g4 all he wants. I'm not going to castle, so I just don't care. All right, let's push knight a5, I guess, or do I want to start with rook g1? Yeah, let's just take the open file and deny him any hope. Maybe this was careless. He can go queen b6 now, but g2 or something. Or king f1 even. I can't go king f1. All right, so let's take this. Knight a5. I cannot begin to stress how unfazed my king will be on d2. It's just always a perfect square. No queen e3 for you. No, nothing. When's my next live tournament? I'm in Sochi right now. World Cup is already like starting tomorrow. I don't play tomorrow. I have a first round bye, but I will start playing on the 15th. And hopefully stay there for a while. Okay, how are we gonna finish this off? This queen's actually a little bit annoying, but 95, rook c8, that has to just work, right? No checks. Yeah, let's just do it. It feels a little bit risky to let his knight get to e5. I just don't believe he's going to do anything with it, and rook c8 is not messing around, and at some point I can just mate him faster too. Yeah, so of course this move I missed completely, but luckily I don't think it does anything. Let's just go knight d3. If queen e3, I have king e1 and king d1 and queen g1, king c2. Yeah, so here, and it's always a little bit disconcerting to play a position like this in the King's Indian, but this one's safe enough. Right there, sure. Let's just go bishop d1, everything nice and safe. Next move is king b1. Yep, king b1 as promised. Come on, guys, don't ask me questions you know that I don't want to answer. It's just mean. I have my opinions about people. So let's see, what do I do with? It's actually a little bit of an annoying move, but yeah, let's just go like knight e1, I guess. If bishop e1, queen e3, yeah, let's just do this. It's fine. After bishop e1, queen e3, fe3, bishop e1, it looks like he gets his pawn to e2. I just don't think I care very much. Check. Let's go bishop c2. And bishop. Nah, I don't even know what I want. Let's just go h4. Get ready for bishop g3 without allowing him to h4 me. That's a good move. All right, let's kick this bishop. Has to go to e2, where it's sort of awkwardly placed. Let's go f4. So I guess bishop c3. And now his bishop is in the way of his pawn, and I'm ready for e5. So here I thought the easiest was just to scoop up the e3 pawn. Let's go e5 and get these guys going. So e6, check. Just take and make a queen seems fine. Yeah, there we go. Still playing, Kyle? Yes, we are. So you're right. Let's just chop this one, get the king is fine. King comes in. Alright, move please. Alright, good game, Kyle. Got you this time. Let's play with Matt. You're probably an early subscriber to Chess24 because I imagine Matt was in it. Oh, it's Mott. Never mind. Forget everything I just said. All right, Mott, good luck to you from Turkey. Let's keep playing the repertoire. So knight c6, I gave the classical Sicilian as the final installment of the Shankland repertoire. I don't know, I might do future work on Trustable. I don't know what it would be though. I mean, they haven't asked me for anything, and I don't know what course would be available. Yeah, so I think f4 is supposed to be a bad move order because there's all these tricks with knight takes c4 coming. Like here already, I think white's just begging to like lose in 3 moves. Like if I go h6 here after bishop h4, I think I can take e4. Knight e4, bishop e7, knight c3, knight d1, knight c6, and he's sort of okay. Okay, but that one he's just gone. I mean, this is very bad news. Giving black this unopposed dark squared bishop is almost a death sentence in a lot of Sicilians, and I think this one is no exception. Like I can include this check on h4 here, for example. I don't even know if I want to. Like the bishop on f6 is pretty darn good. I think I do. If I play BC, maybe he can go queen f3, and his coordination isn't that bad. Here I'm at least forcing his king to like d2 or something. King e2, sure. And now his coordination is just atrocious, and his king is on e2, so this feels pretty good. Yeah, so I think this is already just about gone. All right, queen d4. Let's just go e5 and keep things nice and simple. He's got to take it, and then bishop takes g4 is coming. And should see a funny line. Bishop g4, king d3, d e5, queen d8, rook d8 check, king c4, rook d4 check, king b3, bishop e6 check, king a3, bishop e7. He's going to get mated. So this is not working well for white here. Which engine do I use in preparation? Mostly Stockfish and Lula. So yeah, this king is going to get mated despite the absence of queens, which is kind of amusing. Check, and then check on e7, and he's going to get mated. Got to play b4, and then like rook takes b4 is kind of convincing. Yeah, this is not good news for white. Rook b3, rook a3 does not look easy to stop. All right, good game, Mott. Got to be careful about throwing f4, g4 too early. This is classical Sicilian. Black is not as far behind in development as he is in like the Najdorf. It's harder to get away with stuff like that. All right, let's play with Adrian Cara. Good luck to you, Adrian Cara. Or suerte, senor, because he's from Mexico. Let's play. So continuing along with the repertoire. Let's go here. R6, stick with the Gligorich till somebody punishes me. So far I don't think anybody has, at least not in Banter Blitz. 3. So d5. And again, we've got this situation where I got this bishop e3, knight d2 coordination, which you're not supposed to get in the King's Indian for white. And here I managed to get it. So first of all, that's already good news. But secondly, because again, I haven't put my king on g1, like this whole f5 business is just completely unintimidating. It doesn't like do anything basically. My king is totally safe in the center. So here, g5 all he wants. I go c5, knight c4, and basically just crush the queen side, and I don't have to really worry about g4. So let's go knight c4. And it looks like stuff is already just collapsing. Yeah, so let's take on d6 and go knight b5. Seems like it crushes. And again, like he can throw, like if he plays something like say g4, knight takes a7, g3, bishop b6. If my king were castled short, like this would be very scary for me, but as is, I just could not care less. Like the king is totally safe on e1. All right, so there, let's just go a4 and gain some space. This also stops his pseudo threat of rook a7. All right, sure, a5, gain more space. Like again, if he plays g4, I can just completely ignore him. I don't know, a5 may have been careless because now my knight is a little bit awkward after bishop d7, but bishop d7, I can go knight b6, and then rook a7, knight d7. And there's just no way for him to like do anything to my king as long as it's here. So knight h4 is sort of clever. It's encouraging me to castle, but of course I'm not going to oblige him. Just gonna go rook g1, which is not the most useless square for the rook. If black goes g4 and I just ignore it, like the rook on the g file can be good. But I'm starting to get a little impatient. It might be time to crush the queen side a bit faster. Is there a strong chess club in the Bay Area? Yeah, there's, I mean, Mechanics Institute is the second oldest chess club in America, which in San Francisco, which is very nice. There's the Berkeley Chess School where I first learned chess, which is an amazing place to play and learn. The Bay Area has lots of very nice places for chess. All right, so g4 hangs everything. Let's just see how I want to take. If I start with knight c8, he has to flick in g3, and then let's say hg, fg, bishop b6 forces queen c8, knight d6, and collapse. That seems good enough for me. Who's my first opponent in the World Cup? I have a bye in round 1, and then I will play the winner of Badur Jabava and Abhimanyu Mishra, who are both criminally underrated players. It was a bit of an unlucky draw for me, I think. Jabava's at 2600 or whatever, and like he's been 2730 before, and Mishra obviously is just made a lot of headlines with his very strong play. So these guys are very underrated, and it's a very tough luck in terms of that versus other guys of similar rating. But at the end of the day, what I've always said is good pairings don't win tournaments, good moves win tournaments. So just have to play well. And here black's position has collapsed. So all right, queen a4. He might get one check. It's a bummer. I was hoping not to allow any, but that's okay. Queen, he didn't even give me queen before. All right, let's just go king f1, get this king to a nice safe-ish square. And some sort of a rook up here with no counterplay. No checks, no nothing, soon enough, just queen c7. Let's go queen c7. So let's just take this and go make a new queen, seems fine. This total lack of counterplay is very frustrating for King's Indian players to deal with. Actually, bishop f8 to c5 is a little annoying here. I probably shouldn't have allowed that. A little careless of me, but I don't think it's going to change anything. Once bishop c5 comes, I just go rook h1 and king h6, I don't understand, so I'm not going to try. That opens my g file for me. That only helps me, and now he's made it in like 2 more moves. queen f7 seems like checkmate. Alright, so good game, Adrian Cara. I think you really can't play knight c6 like that. You just end up in a horrible position really quickly. Let's play with Leoncito. It's a faster game, so maybe I'll get flagged here, but we'll see. From Peru, so good luck to you, Leoncito. Looks like he has a lion. I don't know if it's a cartoon character, but if it is, it's probably not from a stupid funny one. So let's keep on playing the chessable repertoire. This guy who knows how to move quickly. Knight c6, I don't really get. So I don't believe in the Sicilian for white if he castles short. So let's see. If I start with h6 here, where does that bishop go? If I bishop h4, knight e4 is working. So here and now d5, and I'm breaking the center. And soon enough, I think this means my attack will be stronger than his. What books would I especially recommend from Jakob? Oh, this guy's a non-premium. Oh, sorry, guys. I did a boo-boo. No, they were all very good. I think if I had to pick my one favorite, it's probably Practical Chess Defense, but yeah. All right, queen a3 incoming. Go stop it. Guess you can play king b1. And bishop b4 or something. Now, these Sicilians can go really wrong for white really fast if he just gives the big center. Do I prefer elimination from round robin or Swiss? In general, I really like elimination, but I think that two classical games is bad. Like, if you end up playing more rapid tiebreak games than you do classical games, I think that just sucks. Like, it feels much more like a rapid tournament. I would, even just playing 4 games is good. Like, if you get surprised playing white by some random opening and you get like nothing against a line that's really not supposed to be great, if you get a chance to come back and play another classical game against that line, I mean, I think 4 games would make a huge difference. I mean, obviously it's tough because the World Cup is already like a super long tournament. You can't really double it. I mean, you would have to cut the number of participants, which I don't know, I wouldn't really totally be opposed to, but like it's yeah. All right, so here I'm very tempted to just throw rook takes b2 at him. You know what? We're playing Banter Blitz. Let's do this. So my plan is to play bishop a3 check and then bishop b4. And that he has to go king a1 and then bishop b4 comes. Yeah, I would like to, like, when I got knocked out and we blundered this move completely. I'm probably still doing really well here after e5 though. Because if he plays like queen d3, I can go bishop e6. Yeah, I'm just blundering everything now. I'm just a rook down because I was a bit too aggressive. All right, time to play with a rook less and hope for the best. Fine. So d4, he has rook b4 and queen b4, and he's totally good. So any other moves, or am I just completely busted? Yeah, I am totally done for here, aren't I? This is what happens when you get too aggressive. Such a shame. I could have just played like rook b7 or something and been just much better normally. All right, let's go king h8 so that after rook b4, queen b4, he can't go knight d5. And who knows, maybe I can still trick him. But he plays really fast, so he's probably going to be good at this stuff. All right, so let's go. I can't even get my queen anywhere good because he's threatening queen b4 to trade the queens. So let's go here and then queen d8, I guess. Okay, that's a stupid move. I guess bishop b4 is coming. It's not that dumb. So let's go. I spoke too soon. Let's go e4 and get ready for queen e5. Check. Yeah, I don't know. I probably should just resign this one, but I'm sort of annoyed that I managed to get a bad position against someone who played like this. But this is what happens when you sacrifice your rooks without thinking carefully enough. All right, so let's go bishop e6, g5. Oh no, I can probably annoy him a little bit. That was strange. Can't I take this pawn now and then take e4 and open my bishop too? d4 is a very strange move. I have a lot of pawns and my rook is going to get here. So a3, let's take this as well. Knight d4, I can go knight d5. I guess he has queen e4. That's an annoying move. Let's go queen g3, attack that rook. He sees it, unfortunately, but didn't really have anything better. Let's go rook a6. Now he can't take my bishop. Rook e2, can I take c3? Probably not. Whoa, I'm low on time. Check. Knight d6. Let's go knight a4, and I'm almost mating him here. Queen a1. Check. And yeah, I'm going to get flagged because that's what happens in these stupid fast games. Check, and then, yeah, rook a8. Check. And this just comes down to a flag fest, which we all know is something I don't really do, but this guy has annoyed me, so I do it to him. All right, good game, Leoncito. Shame on you for challenging me when you're not premium. Whatever. Lesson learned. Let's play with Bogdan Gamish. I haven't played with you in a while. So d4. See if the repertoire holds up. See what happens if I don't just give a rook for no reason. Alright, so queen's ending. Let's go to g3. Bishop g2. Bogues wants to play later. Maybe we can arrange that. Alright, what did I give here and why can't I remember it? I think it's queen d3. Yeah, I think this is clever because you're ready to play knight c3 next, and if he plays bishop e4, I can go queen e3, and then knight c3 is coming. So yeah, now we go knight c3, and if he allows me to play e4, I'm obviously much better, so that's a pretty normal response, but I think this is still very unpleasant for black. As I've said many times, b6 and d5 just don't really mesh very well, and I think here white just has a very comfortable position with good play against these pawns. c5, let's go rook fd1. Maybe I shouldn't let him play c4, but I don't find it to be a very intimidating move. Queen back to b1, and now b3 is incredibly hard to deal with. This knight on a6 is kind of weird. Alright, rook e8, let's go knight e5. Knight h5. So the normal response to this is like e3 and then g5, queen f5, I think. I'm not going to overthink it. Let's just play e3. I just sort of believe that g5 will not work. There's too many good options for white. Knight takes f7, queen h7 is there. Okay, that one I can just take c4. So I don't get the point of that. But I could have taken c4 last move as well. That probably was smarter. I was just a little worried about knight f4, but now I just take this way and this game is finished. If I'm allowed to play f5 next move, that's not going to be good news for his king, but if he plays f5 himself, I can land my knight on e5. So let's go knight e3, threaten this pawn. I think he has to play f5 here. I can't imagine he can let me play f5, but there's also no way that's going to save him if I go like bishop d5. So let's go f5. No f5 for you. He can just get mated in like 3 more moves too. Yeah, so there I just take this, and this is not going to work for black. Alright, a3, knight c6, knight d5. And I'm not really in a rush to take on h7. I always can whenever I want to. It's not like I'm worried about him playing hg6. So let's start with queen f5 and get ready for knight d5. That one I believe I can play knight d5 anyway. So let's do it. Take. And this game is over. Do you consider winning 2018 US Championship your biggest achievement? Yeah, I mean, it has to be to win a tournament ahead of like the world's number like 2, 3, and 6 or whatever is pretty good. It's hard to. I think that has to be number one. Prague is probably number 2 though. I mean, performance-wise, it was higher than US Championship. I was 2,900 there in Prague. I was like 2,890, but in the meantime, we're just playing this position really badly, but luckily I have an extra piece, so it shouldn't matter. No, the US Championship was my biggest one, but if that one felt particularly good to win for a lot of reasons, of course. I've been trying for years and years and years and years, and then there was one year where it really felt like there was an open field. Hikaru wasn't playing. This was the last year before all the guys started switching federations. And then Hikaru wasn't playing, and Kamsky was there, and he was on the decline. He was like only 2,700 when he used to be like 2,760. And that was the year where it really felt like there was a great chance. And I think, in fact, I actually think Lunderman and Akobian even tied for first, but Kamsky won the tiebreak. So and then after that, once all the guys started switching, it almost felt impossible. So once I actually won it, it felt absolutely amazing. But yeah. I still think I might have another US Championship in me, or maybe 2 or maybe more. I'm not so old just yet. To jump, your greatest success is yet to come. I like that attitude. That is the plan. All right, let's just start tagging stuff. F5, that is a weakening move. So let's go h5 and open up the king. And at some point, I'm just gonna, like, once his king is open like this, I mean, I have a bishop on g2 to keep mine safe, and his is just begging for death. All right, so let's take this, and then this is gonna be mate. All right, good game, Bogdan Grametia. Let's see who else wants to play. Bogues was asking about his browser. Let's see. Let's play with a new guy. Here's Mac Dillon. Bogues, I'll play with you at some point today. We'll see. We still got time. All right, Mac Dillon from Brazil. What you got for me? So this is all, of course, in the trustable repertoire. See what this guy comes up with. See, the main move here is going to be b3. I'm not sure if I covered, but it looks kind of dumb. I could just DC and queen d4. Feels incredibly greedy. Let's just take the whole center. This can't be wrong. But yeah, guys, only premium members can play, unfortunately. That's the rules. And some people have shamelessly tricked me into playing with them when they're not premium, banking on my inability to figure that out before the game starts, but shame on such people. Let's go with, I don't even know what. Knight b7 is fine. Let's go, I guess, queen e7. Yeah, as you know, guys, I try to read the Chess24 chat. I'm not a great streamer or anything. It's really not my thing, but I'm sure when other hosts don't do it, it's not because they don't want to. It's just that it's, for those of us who don't stream, it can be hard to keep everything sort of on your screen at the same time and know who to talk to and where and stuff like that. It took me a couple tries to get used to it. This game, I think I've played absolutely horribly because I think white played it really bad and I now don't like my position, so that means I must have done something bad. But d4 was a bad move. He should have taken d5 and played like d3 or something. I have some generic plans prepared against weird moves like 1b4, 1a3. What I gave in the course is that basically my default is the London system. I think that's a very safe way. It's a very safe way to play where an extra tempo doesn't really mean that much. The one thing I wouldn't do is like against, I don't know, I mean, b4 is really wacky, but like if you take a somewhat more serious move like b3, I think one of the worst things you can do is just like go d5, c5 and just pretend you're playing white, which when you're not. I mean, the guy played something that wasn't the most challenging first move, but it's certainly not a useless one and not a terrible one. So you don't want to pretend that you're playing white. If you win the World Cup, will there be a third sport of small steps to join improvement? I don't know. The second one sort of fell on its face, so I'm not sure if I really want to write a third. But if I win the World Cup, I mean, then I'm playing the candidates. Then my life changes considerably. I think I would stop doing a lot of things and probably take some time off of any kind of teaching or contents and make sure I'm ready for what really matters. All right, so let's go bishop g4 because I don't want him to play knight c7. So the point is if knight c7 here, I can take everything. I need 2 hangs at the end. Yeah, so bishop a3. This guy is playing pretty well, actually. For 1200, this is extremely powerful. But yeah, that's not a great move. Let's take with, yes, rook is fine. It's not like it's doing that much on e8. Just sort of walking into knight c7 later. Okay, so knight f4. Let's take this knight and then go a6. That way, if he plays knight c7, I have the c8 score from my rook. And here, I think black is not much better. In fact, I don't even know if I have to play a6. I can just go queen d7. Yeah, so let's go queen d7, attack this knight. Can't really go to c7. I can't imagine we'll get out of that pin after rook a8 with knight e8 coming next. And soon enough, I'm going to start throwing stuff at his king. Let's go h5 and start the assault. Knight d1, sure. I guess to prevent any hope of some kind of queen c7, and I'll trade the rooks, and then rook c8 to take the c file. And then I'm sort of attacking him on multiple axes. I'm threatening him on the c file where I can invade, and I'm also sort of threatening his king. But here, that knight on e3 is going to be really good. So I'm actually just going to chop this knight and then go queen c7 and take this, not queen c7, then bishop h3. I'll go queen c6 and meet bishop h3 with rook c7. And this way I take the c file. Don't know. This guy plays much better than 1200. But it's weird, like, I can guarantee you he's not cheating. He's 100% playing honest chess. There's no way I would be like getting such a good position if he were cheating dice. So like, I don't mean to sound like I'm accusing. I can 100% guarantee he's not. It's just he's playing very, very strong for a 1200. Like normally they just drop pieces really fast, and here there's still sort of a game to be played at this point, like on move 25. But yeah, so he's playing really well. But yeah, I think that's the end now. I can go queen b1 and rook c1, and he's mated. Yeah, this is good. All right, good game, Mac Dillon. It was really good play from you, I would say. So forward to playing next time. Let's see who else wants to play. All right, Bogues, you want to play? We'll see if you get white. Ah, you did. All right, lucky Bogues. Let's see if you can challenge the Rouser with bishop c4, which according to me is not a great move, but we'll see if he can change my mind. In other news, in 10 minutes, the Euro is starting, so people can keep me updated in the chat if anybody scores before I try to wrestle with Russian hotel TV and see if I can manage to find the game. But yeah, bishop e3 is just such a lousy move. I don't understand why he plays it. This just should be a very comfortable Sicilian for black now. All right, so bishop b7. Yeah, so this just seems really questionable from white. I don't want to do this. Let's go knight b4. That's a pretty typical move in this structure, so that I'm ready to meet g4 with d5, and sort of highlighting that the bishop is not amazing on d3, because if a3, my knight can take it. So let's go now with bishop e7. And I'm ready to just castle, and basically the fact that I'm always ready to meet g4 with d5 means I don't really see a plan for white. And I can castle much more freely knowing that g4 d5 is not an issue. Yeah, so g4 d5 just seems like it's too much power for black in this position. In a 2-game match with a weaker player, is it a good strategy to make a draw with black and hoping to win with white? I don't know. I mean, it depends a bit on what they do. Like, I don't think you should go crazy trying to win with black. If they're trying to make a draw with white, if they just don't try, like, you don't want to like ruin your position, but I don't think you should necessarily be just trying to like kill the game immediately either. Anyhow, he played e5, and after d4, like all of white's pieces are hanging, so I think this is bad news for white. Do I like football? Yes, I like both footballs actually, worldly football and American football. I find them both to be very interesting and wonderful games that I enjoy watching. But yeah, here like white is just crushed already. So yeah, I don't really get this line. So okay, now how do I want to handle this? I think probably the easiest is to just take this and then take c2 and take f3. I think looks very convincing. So let's just do that. So for the moment, I'm a pawn up, and I'm going to win an exchange on top, and that should easily be enough. Knight d4, bishop h1, knight c2, and I'm just an exchange up. Maybe, I mean, this is simple enough. Bishop h1, knight c2 comes, and that's an extra exchange for dead nothing. You lost to this Bogues again, my friend. This Bogues and his stupid classical Sicilian. What would be a good way to test your opening repertoire online? Just play a bunch of games. I mean, it can be pretty obnoxious when you want to, like, you just learn some Sicilian, you want to test it. and like endlessly you get like e4, e5, e4, c5, bishop c4 because the guy is too stupid to realize that you haven't played e5 and that the bishop is dumb after e6. And next thing you know, on like move 2, you're totally fine in a pretty dry position. Like that, I know it can be frustrating, but if you keep playing online and you get better and you play stronger guys, soon enough you play people who will like play real stuff. I don't know. I mean, when you're playing online, you're playing against anonymous opponents. You don't know who they are. You don't know what they play. I mean, it's a bit different. All right, so here let's just start trading stuff. Bishop c5. If knight e6, there's bishop e3, so this is fine. All right. Okay, now he's self-pinning too. Rook d8 is coming. Rook d8, and this is gone. I'm losing a piece on top. Knight e6, the easiest is bishop e3, I think. All right, Bogues. Yeah, so I think bishop c4, he didn't manage to cause me much trouble this time. I don't think it's a great move, honestly. All right, let's play with Killer of GMs. I remember playing a good game with you before, so let's play another one. This is another Peruvian. Yeah. Did your parents support your decision to become a chess professional? I mean, they were skeptical of it when I was like playing chess more. I was taking chess more seriously than going to school, but especially when I was like took a gap year to sort of play professionally when I wasn't even a grandmaster yet and it wasn't clear how far I would make it. They were a little bit skeptical, as I think any rational person would be, but when I really started to make it and prove I could earn a very comfortable living and I was playing really, really well, they were totally supportive. I mean, at some point when you're an adult and you can just make your own decisions, you'll find that your parents have less power to influence them and they usually just accept you as you are. I mean, obviously it's a bit different to say like I'm gonna be a chess professional than to say, oh, I'm gonna like, I don't know, become like a mafia member or something. I mean, then you can sort of see how a parent would not necessarily want that for their kid, but yeah, they were supportive. They've been great, especially since I've become an adult. They've really been great. Yeah, so here he's played this whole bishop f5 back to c8, which is very solid. Like in this structure where I still had my pawn on e3, like it's not a great. I mean, it's very solid for him. I don't have my bishop outside the pawn chain, so I can't really play that strategically and hope for the best. But here I think I can just aim for this sort of isolated queen-pawn attacking position, taking advantage of my lead in development. But I'm sort of regretting this now. If he plays bishop e7 and knight c6 next, this isn't that convincing for white. It's still probably pretty nice though. Say knight f6, bishop f6, bishop e3, knight c6, rook a d1, knight e7, bishop e4. And white's got like good attacking chances. Yeah, that move I don't like. Okay, this guy's really begging for bishop h7, but I don't quite think I can give it to him here, which is a bummer. If bishop g5, knight d4 is a problem. Bishop h7, king h8, I don't love it. Can just start with rook d1 is fine. It's not the most exciting move, but it's okay. h6, really now? You're provoking me. Oh boy. Guess my queen's not in great position to organize some sacrifice. Could just start with knight e5 and get ready for queen g3. Seems fine, let's do it. Did you ever think about not going to college because of chess? No, I mean, like, my life was very different than all of these prodigies. I went to school, like, all through the entire American K-12 education system in the traditional timetable. That, like, not going to college hadn't occurred to me as an option. I played my first chess tournament when I was, like, 11 or 12, or almost 12. So it's not like I was just chess from the start like all of the other top players were. You know, like, it's... I know that's very unusual, but that's just, I had a very normal upbringing. Alright, so here, this hasn't gone wildly well, but I still think I'm a bit better. Someday he's going to have to try to play c5, but it's going to be hard to make it work. Also, keep in mind, like, you ever think about not going to college because of chess? I was 17. I mean, no 17-year-old makes these choices for themselves. It's when you're that old, it's still your parents making these choices on your behalf. So yeah. All right. Here, this whole f5, f4 does not impress me. It feels like black's position should collapse soon. The e6 pawn is a bit weak, so let's go queen c4 and attack it. All right. It's an annoying move. Bishop h3, rook b8, and he's okay, huh? How much do I care about fg3? Maybe not that much. Rook e1, fg3, fg, queen f2, king h1, queen d2, queen e6, king h8, queen d6, rook f2. Seems a bit annoying. All right, I'm playing too slowly. I'm going to get this bishop to a nice safe square, and then maybe play rook e1 next and sort of point out that if fg3, I can just take back. And if he's not taking my bishop, I don't really know what queen f2 is accomplishing. The queen ends up sort of offsides and can run into rook f1, and now e6 is hanging again. This wasn't as convincing as I'd like, but it still looks really good for white. Queen e6 is not messing around. If bishop g3 can start with rook f1 is probably good. That way he can't meet hg with rook f5. All right, queen back to f7 is obviously an admission of failure, but it might have been prudent. So let's start with this, bring the rook back to e1, and this e6 pawn is coming under fire. Next up, let's double the rooks. This bishop on b7 is not very impressive. He plays c5. My thought was I could play d5. Let's find out. Yeah, I believe it d6, and then I can go king g2 or something. King g2, queen f3, king g1, bishop g3. Then I can go hg, queen g3, rook g2, queen e3 check, and king h2. And he cannot take on c1 because if I take on g7, so no more checks and we're good. What is your preparation plan between tournaments? Well, I try to see, like, think about. Oh, was queen f1 just mate there? Man, not paying enough attention today. Well spotted, Mr. Fluffington. What is your preparation plan? I don't know. I don't really think between tournaments is so different than just any other normal time. I study openings, try to make sure I have good preparation and well rested and prepared. All right, let's start with king g2. Yeah, I've just blundered checkmates, so you know it's getting late here in Russia. I don't play that well in the evening. So yeah, whenever I start blundering mate in 1, let the lame excuses begin. So here, let's just go b3. All right, so someday I'm gonna have to take c5, but I think this is the moment because I'll take a7 as well. So check and take. This is a little annoying after rook e2, but I don't believe it. King g1, and he should have played rook b2 to harass my pieces a bit, but I don't think it would have saved him. All right, here, let's cut the king off, and then can bring my own king to f4. I take this one too. All right, Killer of GMs. Apparently you missed a mate in 2 and could have lived up to your name there. Yeah. All right, Mr. Fluffington, you saw the maiden too, and you have some cartoon character. I guess that's Hobbs, right? So we'll play with Hobbs. All right, Fluffington, you got a nice big rating. Let's see what you can do to me. I don't think I actually recommended this in the course, though, so it's silly of me. This stuff, I haven't checked this in forever. I think you're supposed to play A4. Yeah, I don't remember like anything about this position. It's got rookie 1. I usually play B6 at some point. It's just fianchetto. How bad can this be? All right, bishop on A3. Okay. Of course, I'm totally freestyling here. I have no idea how I'm supposed to play this, but let's get the bishop back and out of harm's way, and then hope to reroute knight e2 to g3 while overprotecting the pawn. So a6, sure. Let's go knight e2. Don't think you can play b5. I have ab and then bishop d6. c5. Wow, that I was not expecting. So if I play d5, I think he is a very long way away from getting f5 in. So I think I can play this way and close the position. All right, so let's go knight g3 and fight for the f5 square, and then bishop back to c1 and make trouble on h6. If king g7, I might just queen d2 him. All right, he's really sort of begging me for queen d2. He can play knight g5 there, but I want this. Knight g5, h4, knight f3, gh, h8, h5, knight f6 or something. He's probably okay. Let's go h4 and start gaining some space, and maybe I'll play queen d2 next. But yeah, this is sort of a weird looking King's Indian now. All right, knight f6. Let's just go h5 and weaken some squares. Seems fine. Guess he should probably play bishop g4. Maybe I can go queen d2 then, or hg, and then queen d2, hg first and queen d2 next. Go knight h2. I don't know, this probably wasn't a brilliant way. Whoa. You really question me, don't you? Right, so take this, and now, okay, queen d2, knight g5, he's alive. Start with knight h2, he goes knight f6, I guess. This plan, it feels pretty soft. Let's just do this and start bringing the pieces. Knight f6, I can go maybe queen f3. Bishop g5, but I can take this one now. e7, sure. All right, let's challenge this bishop. It's a pretty strong piece, and then if he takes on c1, I'll be able to go knight h4 later. And this attack is going to be really strong. So I'll start with rook e3, and then queen back to h2, knight h4, knight e5, rook g3, lots of threats are coming. You probably should play knight g5. Yeah, that one doesn't strike me as brilliant, but let's start with rook f1, because I want to play f4 soon, and after knight h4, queen g5, I couldn't play rook g3. All right, so knight h4, and start attacking. Guess he can sort of play. Yeah, that one I thought I could go bishop e2. Let's go bishop e2, queen g5 though, rook g3 and queen f4, and he's sort of okay. All right, let's go f4 and start the assaults. Rook f4. His queen is actually not totally safe here. Rook a8. So if I play rook g3, queen f4 is probably okay for him. I'm not sure it is. This king is going to be open. Let's give it a try. Rook g3. Yeah, we're playing Banter Blitz. Let's see what happens. I think this should be good for me if he takes on f4. Queen e5, rook f7, you can go queen a1, which is a bit annoying, but I might not care. Rook f1, take, and then knight g6 is coming. Looks pretty good. But he can go queen d4 check after rook f7. King h1, knight g6, king g7, knight e5, and he's good, I think, there. So after queen e5, I don't think I can get away with rook f7. But if I just start with c3, what the heck is his next move? I don't know. So let's see if he can show me. Yeah, this was not the most compelling game I've ever played, but I still think it's going pretty well. So hang on. Rook f7, and what's the big idea? No checks, no nothing. This is just game over, I think. I don't know. I mean, obviously this was poor on his part, but it was hard to find a move. All right, that one is just this. Have I heard of the book The Unstoppable American by Jan Timman? No, I haven't. Is that a Fisher book? Let's see who else wants to play. Let's play with Blunder Panda. I haven't played with you for a while. Oh, it's about Fisher? Yeah, I don't know this book, unfortunately. I'm not the best chess historian out there. Alright, so this guy wants some Queen's Gambit decline, which is a totally sensible and solid way of playing. Is there any score or anything notable in Italy versus England, or is it still not getting off the ground yet? Right, BD7, yeah. So I gave C5 here in the course, so let's see if Blunder Panda has something against it. C6 already. Here I thought it's supposed to play B4. Julio Barajas premium now. Yeah, and I gave this move H4 in the course, which I thought was kind of interesting. We'll see if I can make it work. This one can go A3. And I kind of like this move H4. It had some interesting points. Good game, Fluffington. I'm sure this was pretty lousy play on my part. Not the best way to deal with the Philidor, but I got the job done. Yeah, so if black doesn't exchange pieces here, I mean, he's got, whoa, bishop. To go bishop b7, bishop a6. My guess is that was just a mouse slope, actually, if I had to think about it. Wondering if I can be a bit more violent than... Let's try this move b5. I think normally you would, under normal yeah, should have taken a6 first, but I was sort of wondering if I could make something happen here. Looks like the answer is no. That's okay. Boring. All right, let's take b6. I guess there's nothing better to do, which is kind of a bummer. I should have taken a6 first, or I mean, I could always just castle and let him take d3. But if I had taken a6 first and then gone b5, he wouldn't have this option, and this would have been fun. But yeah, here, this kind of thing. I got a free tempo on bishop d3, but it might not be the most useful free tempo. So black's probably okay here. c5. So that leaves me with this pawn on... Wait, I get the bishop to c7? No, you can't. You can't let me keep this pawn like that. That's not okay. Yeah, all right, let's go knight a4. If I can keep the b6 pawn like reasonably safe, I think black should be in horrible shape. Okay, bishop back to c2. I guess he can play bishop d8, but this feels incredibly bad for black already. All right, so bishop d6. I could just go bishop c5 here. I don't think he's taking that bishop. Maybe knight e4 is annoying. Let's go with knight e5, and I have a thought. If he plays knight takes b6, I can go knight takes b6 and a4 and hide my bishop away on a3. And I think strategically black's in real trouble here. At some point I could just like start checkmating him. I'm not that far away from just going queen f3, g4, g5. Alright, so bishop c7. Do I want to trade these guys? Not really, but I don't really want to let him take e5 either. I think I'll let him take e5. It's not great, but it's fine. So he takes e5. He should have at least waited for me to play queen f3, because now I get d4 for the queen. But yeah, this position now actually looks really bad for black. I'm going to put my bishop on d6. His bishop on b7 is unbelievably bad. And at some point, like, I'm actually in pretty good position to just start checkmating him. Like, yeah. What do I think of Kasparov's Blitz performance? It breaks my heart. I mean, he was my biggest hero for so long, and it's so painful to watch someone who inspired you the way he did, somebody that great, just go down like that. It was very hard to watch. But yeah, so here, I think black is completely busted in the middle game and in the end game. If he takes on d4 and I go e takes d4, like I can just rook a3, rook g3, rook h4, rook g4, and then I'm gonna like mate him without queens. Says he's disconnected, but I don't know. I don't know why Gary fell so hard. I think it's probably just because he's old. I mean, it's a shame. Father Time stops for nobody. No matter how great we're talking a player, it's, you know, when you reach a certain age, you just can't play. And we all knew that Kasparov wouldn't play at the same level. But look, he played that. I first saw him back in action. I think it was 2015. And while he didn't win that Ultimate Moves thing or whatever it was, Hikaru won. He got second, and like he made a plus score against the best players in the world at age 53 after not playing in God knows how long. But you know, if he were really at his peak, I would have just expected him to win. And you just can't play at this level forever, or eventually, and you'll deteriorate gradually more and more over time. All right, so he goes rook f8, giving me an exchange, which is a pretty reasonable thing to do, but I also just don't think we'll save him. I'm just going to take it. So we're going to transition here. Alright, rook f4. Jupp is asking for one last rouser. I might just have to oblige him. But yeah, here this game is over. d4, huh? Make connected passers and hope for the best. Seems like a sensible idea, but I don't think it will save him. So here, if d3, just bishop d1 or something. Yeah, I got these guys blockaded. So let's start with king c3. And these pawns are stopped in their tracks. Some point I should run king d4, king c5, and take his stuff. Let's go king d4. Alright, let's go f5 and undermine the bishop and get ready for bishop g4, and his pawns are going absolutely nowhere. So bishop g4 comes, fe6 next, and stuff will start falling. King d5, fg4, e6 check, king e7, d7, c3, king c6, d2, king c7. I get there first, so let's do it. Takes. Guess you can try knight b6 here. Actually, it's a little annoying. Knight b6, king c6, take b6, c3. All right, that one. But now if I can keep my bishop, it should be good. So check. If I take on d7, if he plays like c2 or something, just bishop d1 is fine. And fg, just, okay, fine. King c6 works, but let's be an adult and just take the pawns. King c6 definitely worked, but this is fine. Alright, it's a good game, Blunder Panda. All right, Jup, you want it? You got it. Let's play one more. Does age affect blitz play more than classical? I don't know. I think it affects you all. We can never tell because we don't see Kasparov play classical. In general, blitz is more unforgiving. Like if you it's just a lot easier to lose with white in blitz than it is in classical. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, blitz it just has so much to do with how fast your mind is moving, which is basically talent and age. It's so much about talent and it's yeah. All right, so b5. I'm not sure if this was the move I even wanted or not. I think I'm supposed to play queen c7 there actually. So yeah, I'm definitely supposed to play queen c7. That's what I gave in the course, but it's okay. We'll give this a try as is. See if Jup can punish me. I was supposed to play queen c7 instead of b5 because then I could meet g4 with h5 a bit more comfortably. Yeah, h4 I think is wrong. He should have played bishop e3 there, and then he would have had pretty good chances. Here I can castle, and now when he goes like bishop e3, if he plays g5, knight h5, the best plan is bishop h3, bishop g4 to go like take this trapped knight. But in those positions, I don't think that h4 is a wildly useful move for white. And here I'm ready to start making trouble. And yeah, you can't compare Vichy to Gary. I mean, Vichy is still playing chess. Like he's still active and playing pretty well. All right, so h5 first. I think I can just go h6. You can always take on f6, and I probably should take with the bishop, but I think the ending is fine. Yeah, so here let's start with rook fc8. And b4 is a threat. I think black's attack generally always feels faster to me when he gets like this. In general, I don't think the whole just caveman straight through thing works very well for white. Yeah, so let's go b4. And then a5. And black's play is not messing around here. Yeah, so hg and then knight e4. And then it all collapses. Yeah, but I mean, if white's not going to play, I mean, g5 failed there, but if he's not going to play g5, what's he going to do? Like, just black's play just feels more natural and faster, and somehow I thought it worked well for me. All right, so this is not going to last much longer. Bishop g5 and queen d3, bishop b5, and it all falls apart. And yeah, you guys, you cannot compare the old generations to today. It's back then, I mean, chess was really just a game. It wasn't a sport the way it is today. All right, so take. And this is definitely not going to work for white. How are we going to do this? How do we finish this game off? Do I want to play? This looks so over every which way, but don't want to get careless. Start with bishop a4, I think is good. If b3, I have bishop f6, e5, bishop e5. If rook b1, I have rook d8, rook d1. This is very much over. I think bishop a4 is a good clean finisher. Actually, bishop c1 was a move there. That would have been pretty nice. That was probably the best way. Yeah, bishop c1 was best. It's a shame I missed it. If queen d4, I could have played bishop b2. Yeah. So here my thought was rook d8 and get the rook to d1. Rook d1, and that's just mate, right? I actually just had queen b1, rook d1 as well, but this is fine. Yeah. Classical Sicilian's still working pretty well. I think we have time for one more game. Let's play with Serge Rachmanov. I haven't played with him for a while, and he's pretty good, so this will be a good challenge. Good luck to you, Sergei Rachmanov. Rachmanov. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see who else. Let's play with Krishna 88. Good luck, Krishna 88. Let's have a good game. See if we get a semi-slot for the first time today. This stuff, why can't I remember anything? I think I gave e6 here. e3 and then bishop b4. Yeah, put the Shankland repertoire in the chat once more. Knight e2, yeah, I thought this was just supposed to be good for black, basically. And here bishop back to e7, and then knight on e2 is misplaced and c5 is coming. I remembered giving this in the course, and yeah, c5 comes, and he can throw g4. I just don't believe in the attack here. He's very slow to open lines on the king side, and in the meantime, I can make trouble in the center. All right, so let's go b6. Feels like a6 is a good score for the bishop. All right, bishop a6. You really gonna castle long on me? Yeah. All right, rook c8. Keep putting pieces on good squares. Generally a good philosophy. d1, sure. What do I even want to do here? I don't know. Let's just take d4. Probably should have taken d4 last move so he couldn't take with a knight. This is still pretty good for me. So yeah, let's take this, and then I guess I'll go rook c4 next. Oh, he takes that way? Okay, then I'm really happy. Let's start with bishop d6 and challenge this bishop. I mean, his king is a little shaky, and his knight on c3 is badly misplaced. He should have taken with the queen to have some kind of idea to play queen a4 or something, or e4, but here he's just in bad shape, and trading queens only will make his problems worse, because once I can double rooks on the c file, that knight is just frozen forever, and then all I have to do is like reroute my knight to c4 and white will collapse. Alright, so here, and this knight is just completely locked down. I guess you can go rook c1, but alright, so let's take this. Probably it's not even bad to just take on c3, but I'm going to be a bit more of an adult and just bring the knight to c4. White probably, hang on, he can go rook c1, knight d6, knight d1, so that after knight c4, he's sort of alive, but god damn, it's so passive and so ugly. But no, this knight on c3 just ruins white's position completely. Yeah, a4 is not going to help. I can just go knight d6. And here, oh, it's clever. But hang on, knight b5, a b5, rook c2, rook c2, rook a7, g5, rook b7, rook b2, rook b6, rook b4, rook b8, king g7, b6, rook takes d4, b7, rook b4, and black wins. So that I think looks pretty good. I can also play knight e4 here. Knight e4 looks like the better option, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna go with knight e4. I suspect knight b5 does work, but this one I think is stronger and more convincing. I do think that line with knight b5 was winning for black, but this one is just a little bit more idiot proof, which for me is a big deal. Yeah, okay, but now this is just gone. And everything is, I could take everything. Any score so far in the game? A5, very tricky. Rook C7, A, B, Rook B2, Rook C2, not clear. Let's just take this one and be idiot-proof again. All right, so there, take the, I see, very clever. So if I, hang on, knight D6, where does the knight go? It's just about trapped, let's just retreat. Yeah, the knight is almost trapped here, and I take all the punts, so this is fine. If knight A6, I can even just go knight B7, and nah, he'll have rook C6, he'll have knight B8, I'll just start taking pawns instead. So, yeah, let's take C2. England's up a goal. I don't care that much. I don't really like either team, but whatever. Here, yeah, let's start with a check. And then knight b5 seems like the end, if I'm not mistaken. Let's take d4. So just take f3 and then let's go g5, make some room for my king. Completely idiot-proof again. Rook f4, I have rook c3, so that's the whole point, of course, or rook f4, whatever I want. Start with, I almost played king g7 and blundered knight e6, that would have been bad. Let's go rook c3, and then kick this knight, and now guess king g7, knight e5, knight c6 doesn't quite work. Let's just go knight c6 and get ready for like shoving the d pawn. Seems like a good way to finish it off. Yeah, d4. You can go knight f6, knight e4, I guess, but it will not change the result. Yeah. Let's go f8, it's fine. D pawn is coming. That should be good enough. It's d2. Let's just throw knight e5 first for absolutely no reason. I won on time, but the position's winning anyway. All right, guys, this was fun. Time to watch some soccer.